Hello everyone, my name is Alckemy. Welcome to the channel. Today we are going to be doing some sound design, and trying some stuff, seeing if I can figure out some cool things to do. Yeah, hope everyone is doing well. I don't really have much to say on the matter. Let's get started. Hi! Okay, I am going to start a new thing. No. Hold on one second. There we go. Okay. Sorry, just moving stuff around. Okay. So, if anybody is new to this, what I've been doing as of late is creating monster wavetables that I'm going to be putting out soon for sale. And what we're going to be doing is making some neurobase with them. And I've kind of been just testing these out across the different synths and stuff that take wavetables. And so far we've had some pretty good results. So we'll see what we can get. Well, that's interesting. Okay. So now that we have that, I need to, yeah. Sync a couple of these, set these all as smooth. So we be schmoovin'. Hey Falter, I guess good afternoon. I'm starting a little late today. What can you say? Okay, so now I'm gonna see if okay, we're just going to move those two against each other just a bit. I'm gonna turn this down just a bit. And then we'll use another one over here to... Okay. Now that we have that, let's add our stars. And we are on our way to our next base. The Dark Child Halo. What? What is that from? Oh, hello. Annie the Dark Child. That's your name. I am so sorry. Hi, welcome to the stream. Please don't hate me. I'm so sorry. Hi, welcome. Wow, that's crazy. I hadn't even really done a whole lot, and it's already making those kinds of sounds. So far, we just have a wavetable, distortion, a boost, and a notch, and that's already making sounds like that. Have a great day. No, I'm kidding. All right, so I'm trying to think here. Now, something that I actually want to do is I'm going to turn this off, and I kind of want to check a couple of things because I'm not sure if it's going to do it or not. But I'm going to add an oscilloscope here, and what I'd like to figure out is if all nice. Yeah, I apologize. What I'd like to figure out is if the limiter is going to hard clip a sound, and if it will control peaks, and then also if distortion is going to do the same. So let me see here. We are going to set this up really quick to mid and side, and then we're going to set the scale to like here, -41, set that to through. What's happening? What? Okay, why am I not getting anything out of this? I think you caused the clipper and the transient shipper to hard clip. See, that's what I initially thought, but I think that it still lets stuff pass through. And the other thing that's interesting about that is this even working? Oh no, no wonder, there's no sound. There we go. I was like, what the fuck? Okay. So the first thing I'm going to see is actually applying distortion, because while it might hard clip it, it's probably not going to control the peaks. But I'm wondering if you negative drive this, okay, so that would be a bad thing to try. So what we should try instead is to actually do some other kind of distortion to this. So maybe combining a few. Okay, maybe do some. Okay, so I'm just trying to make the waveform a little bit more complex. Still too squarey. There we go. Okay, sorry about that. So now that we have something like that, I'm going to try to see what this hard clip does and see if the drive, I'm going to push this through the limiter, but turn this, actually let's see what the limiter does first. One bias left, second right. That's combo? Joking? I don't know. No, it's fine. So looking at this here, it doesn't look like, my guess would be that this is just getting into aliasing. Which is fine. But I would like to see if, now that this is being pushed, if you turn the drive to 0, and I also want to try to keep this in mind too, of looking over here, seeing if this is going to clip this. No, it's not. But what happens if I drive this negatively? Yeah, that's still not, that's just turning it down. So the reason why I wanted to try this was because I wanted to see if I can actually get hard clipping out of this. Oh, there we go. That might be a better viewpoint. So it will squarify it. So you can see here. But I don't think that will control the peaks of that. Yeah. That's interesting. Okay, so one more time, let's see what that looks like with this. So there's that. If I were to push this through with a super fast threshold. Oh. That's even softer. So maybe with a longer release that might actually... No, it doesn't. Okay, so now we can take a look at... we can push this up and then take a look at the transient shaper clipper. Enabled, the signal is clipped to dB, to 0 dB. But is it soft clipping or hard clipping? I think that's soft clipping. So I guess like what the protocol for that would be to drive it with a little bit of hard clipping. Yeah, let's turn that into a square. So, okay, thank you guys. I just wanted to experiment with that to see if there was something I could do about that, but I might have to do that in post. And that's maybe something that I'll put on the wish list for hopefully a future update for kilohearts. So what I would like to do is to just saturate all this stuff and to be able to use that in order to be able to clip. But unfortunately, the only thing that we can do right now is use a limiter. So, and I think even this applies like soft clipping. Wait. Yeah, because nothing on here is being squarified. There's absolutely zero, which is kind of cool because it's kind of transparent, but it doesn't help control the peaks, which is what I was hoping to kind of be able to shave off. Okay, so with that, we are going to just boost that up a little bit, and then we will add a multipass. How are you guys? How's everything going? Okay, we are going to turn the gain down just a bit, and then we are going to hard clip this. One bias left, joking, I don't know. Did that just replay? Did chat just replay? Am I tripping? Okay, and something else that I'm going to do as well is I'm also going to turn that up, and then when that goes, that'll turn that up. Okay. There we go. Now let's get into some slice EQ. And let's see what we can do with this. Hey Winter, good morning. I say good morning, but it's like afternoon everywhere unless if you're in another country. Okay, so next we are going to add a notch filter. A notch filter. We could use a notch filter. And then I'm going to just have that kind of sweep there and see what that does. And then from here, we will use that second one to maybe offset this just a tad. And then what I might do as well is I might try to push this through the distortion instead. Whoa. Maybe not. Okay, that's nice and toasty. Okay, as we go here. On individual bands and slice EQ, or does it just... Yeah, you can use it on individual bands. So right now with these filters, with these bands, you have frequency, you have gain, and then you have resonance. And so even though in Phaseplant version 1 we've only got 2 randomizers to work with, you can still pit them against each other, so that way they actually have a relationship anyway. Sorry guys, there's something in my eye. But what you can also do is you can shape all of these in the way that you want, and then you can actually use this to offset the entire thing. Yeah, it doesn't matter though. It's still the same thing. You can still do it in Phaseplant, multipass, snap heap, whatever you want. I will say though that if you were going to do the main advantage to using multipass or snap heap over Phaseplant is that multipass and snap heap actually have a modulator that Phaseplant doesn't right now, and that's the envelope follower. And we're actually going to use that here in a bit because that's something I was thinking about. I actually watched Bathymetric's video on saturation and stuff, and that's kind of what I've been leaning towards anyway. Phaseplants to attach the knobs and individual bands and slice EQ. So you go here, make some stuff. And then it's the same thing, look. You have to make sure to open up the filters tab right here, so that way you can see what you're doing. Or maybe it's just kind of bugged or something, and you might want to try like a new patch, because sometimes that happens to me. Format filter. So we're actually going to do, oh, I must have been doing it in the wrong order or something. All good. I'm glad that hopefully you get it figured out. So we're going to do some saturation on this one. Just pull that up a bit, and then no, I'm going to leave the drive pretty static. I'll leave the stereo here. Okay, that's pretty much all I want to do with that band. On this one, we are going to do a couple of things here. So we're actually going to make a band pass, but we're going to use, I don't know if that's hard clipping or soft clipping, but we're pretty much going to use a couple of these to create a custom bandpass. So you set this one to there, and then you can do it this way, but I think that I'm going to have these move independently of each other, so that way you have stuff constantly opening and closing, as you can see. And then in between that, we'll probably do some other cool and interesting stuff. Actually, I might throw another filter in between that for another slice EQ. And this one also seems to work pretty well as well. I like this one a lot. So you have kind of like a vowel right here, and instead of modulating all of these, kind of like I've done this one, you can just modulate the resonance of the notch filter. And and this, oh my god, please. Please. And this, oh, wrong one, will kind of make it talk, because you can see that it has an interaction between all of the bands here. And so by doing that and then kind of moving this one around, sometimes you end up getting some cool stuff. Which is pretty cool. So we can also do a chorus with 0 spread. Keep the delay there, keep the depth down. And something else I've found as of recent too is that, like, using a chorus, you got it to work nice things. I think I was not seeing the circle showing up on the band controls when I try. Sometimes that actually happens to me. So sometimes if I'm using a slice EQ and I go here, then I try to put it on an offset and it doesn't come up. So that you're not crazy. I mean, you're probably crazy, but that's not for me to tell you. But you can see here that if you turn the rate down on the chorus and you have kind of a healthy delay with 3 taps, then it kind of adds like this cool That's really cool. Yeah, I love making monsters. That's super fun. Alright, so now on this one, maybe I was trying to mod slice EQ with Phaseplant while I was inside Snap. Oh, that would make sense. You can do that. So you can do it, but you have to work around it. So like, let's say you want to use a modulator in Phaseplant, but it's inside of multipass or something. Then what you do is you pick whatever parameter you can use and you map that to a macro. Because what will happen is the macro will pop up on the multipass, and then you can set the modulator to that. Okay, I kind of want something big. Maybe we can try just another. That's what you did. That makes sense. Okay, that's pretty cool. Okay, now what I'm going to do on this one is I'm actually going to use an envelope follower on this now, and this is something I haven't tried before, but wait, what I want to do is this, sorry. I'm actually going to set this down. I hope we get kilohearts too this year. Me too. I'm sure we will, but and I'm going to set this with a long release time. Maybe a shorter release time. Small size, less dampen, big decay, no early reflections. There we go. So now what this is going to do is we can use this to have fills. And we just got to find a sweet spot there. Okay, I'll test that out. I appreciate you doing that with me. Okay, sweet. So now on this one, we're also going to use another convolver. Whatever, this one doesn't really matter. But the only question with that is that will it actually, like, even with the clip involved, will it actually tame the peaks? Bigger. I love the envelope follower. I figured out that you can do super precise kick-based multi-band shading and snap peak with all the free plugins in the envelope follower. Yeah, and dude, there's so much stuff that you can do. You could also, like, something I've been doing is using it to shape snares, because Cage taught me a really cool thing where if you take a high pass and you have the envelope follower on it, then it will make it super punchy and super snappy. You can talk to me. Do whatever you want, babe. Don't feel like you need to. You're okay. You're okay. It's so polite. It's so polite. So yeah, with this now, we're going to use another bandpass, and that is going to just give us some stuff on that. really cool. Okay, so maybe not all the way, but just a little bit of convolution. And something else that we can do too is maybe we can even add another one onto this where, excuse me, we go into something like this and hit reverse. Let's stretch that out a bit. And then we'll use the opposite one. So that way we'll get some cool suction sounds. I always pair the clipper with the output knob while the other multipass dynamic because it clips the out knob when you can drive the input if you want to make drums smack super hard. I just go distortion, turn it down, distortion, turn it down, distortion, turn it down, and then shape it that way. But yeah, however you want to do it. Oh, I think that I'm going to also put just a touch of this on here too. Okay, now we need one of these. And then I'm going to come in here and mess with this. And then we can map this one to here, so that way it'll work with it. Okay, almost, but this is pulling from this too much. There we go. Much better. Okay, so we're going to boost the high band just a bit. And let's see what happens if we... Maybe. No, I think it's fine. So I wonder if that is squarifying that now. Well, it looks like when it goes into the VOMP, it'll do that, but... I don't really think all that distortion is necessary, though, to be honest. Maybe on the top end. So, yeah, that's that. Let's go ahead and move on to the other thing now, which is we'll make a generator out of this. And I'm going to use some stuff from Aberrant Mech. Then we'll do the same trick where we have the nonlinear filter going through and duplicating that and going through the other one. Add some formant filtering over here. We'll put that over O because that's usually the best. Usually the best place to put that, I'd say. And then we'll get into pitch shifting. We're going to change these both to steppers. Oh. Okay. Oh. Yeah, so that does not clip that in the way that it's supposed to. That could be interesting. I think that some delay on that would be really cool too. You doing okay? It doesn't have an envelope though. It's like immediate. After I die as a sound designer, I have to battle all of the synth monsters I conjured up in hell. Well, unluckily for you, nobody's going to hell. I'm going to go party. I should be playing a golden harp only. Sound designers are playing witchcraft. It's a sin. It's written. Well, that sucks. It's not very fun at all. Way to be a negative Nancy. I'm gonna see if I can create some extra interest out of this as well, just because I think that would be pretty cool to try. I like the steam. That's really cool.
Recording to logbook.
Yo, thank you so much for subscribing. I really appreciate it. We are on our way to 10K. Well, on our way. I want to see if maybe I can make like some brass out of this, and the way that I found to do that, which has been the most successful, is you use a pitch shifter and you set that to whatever, like less than 100% mix. You send it through reverb, then you distort that signal, and then sometimes if you send that through a comb filter or something, you can get some really interesting stuff. So we'll see if that happens. almost. Not quite where I want it to be, but that's okay. Maybe put this before. And then I think that I'm going to leave that there because the chain matters. I think if I were to put that over the whole chain, then it would do that, but maybe what I'll do is I will lower this and then lower the threshold. Yeah, there's some really cool sounds in there though. And for some reason, I thought that I had that set up. Oh, maybe it's because of that. Because what I'm wanting to do is to have this kind of space out. Let's try that. Yeah. Okay, maybe not. Yeah, of course, man. I have a good time too. It's not really, you know, it's not the most exciting while I'm just screwing around with sounds, but it is kind of nice to just be like, hey, we're all here and let's talk about some sound design. Or music creation or whatever. And it's cool too, like the thing that I like about this as well is that it gives me an opportunity to like, I like working on sample packs and preset packs on stream because people know what to expect, right? They can see how all this stuff is made. They can see how much time goes into, you know, you can see how much time goes into like making stuff like this because it's not like necessarily difficult for me, but there's a lot of time investment in order to like make just a single patch of this. And I think that helps people kind of, for one, figure out how to make it on their own, but two, whenever they purchase something like that, they're like, oh yeah, this is really cool, or I see, you know, all the intricacies of how this is made, so it's a more confident purchase. And plus I'm streaming and I get to hang out with people while I do it, so it's super cool. It's a lot of fun. If I could just go live stream and like do tricks and people watch me, I would be doing that. It'd be it'd be a lot shorter stream sessions though, because I can only last about maybe an hour and a half right now. Okay, so something else that I'm going to do is I'm going to grab an envelope. I'm probably going to need 2 of these, but I want to create like a bass hit with this. I just renewed my Bitwig update plan for the first time, which makes my first full year using Bitwig, and I love it. I bought because of your channel, and I'm glad you did too, dude. That's really cool. And it's also cool because like you're doing stuff that's a lot different, and you're asking like really different questions, and that's something that I like too, is like when people challenge me and they're like, hey, what is this? And if I don't know the answer, then that's really cool, because then like I learn something, and then maybe we can both figure out a new idea together or something, right? Okay, so now that we have that, we are going to do another envelope. And this one is going to have just a bit more decay, because it's going to be... I'll set that to bipolar. Yeah, so you see how we created that sound now? When one teaches, two learn, as they say. Hi, Scotty. Yeah, it's you never stop being a student. You never stop being a student. This one has some really cool tones in it though, so I'm pretty happy with this one. I guess in like some instances too, like I'm pretty proud of this, because like not only did I make this entire thing from scratch, but I also made the wavetables, and you know, also made these other presets and stuff. So it's really cool to, you know, like that's like Phaseplant is kind of the ecosystem that like keeps giving back. Because now that we have this, I've pretty much created four things from this. So the wavetable on its own could just be a wavetable, and you can use it as like an FM bass or something, but we've got that, we've got the Reese, we have the Neuro, we have the generator, and then we have both of these combined. And so with that, like there's so many, like, and that's just like, and that's not even talking about the sounds that are coming out of that, but just the sheer diversity of what you have. Yeah, I'm a pop guy and I mostly work with singers in Logic, but Bitwig is my fun, make weird cool new ideas, and it's super inspiring, and I've been able to learn it fast because of watching it. And that's really cool too, because like I appreciate that somebody that listens to pop music can come in here and say something like that, because like for one, I'm breaking a lot of rules, right, that go against pop music. but two, like, even though I don't like pop music, there's still a lot that I could and should be learning from it, especially when it comes to mixing. I was talking about this at the beginning of the stream, but I've been watching more of Baphometric stuff because she talks about a lot of stuff that I just don't pay attention to because I've always been about sound design, right? Oh, it's the sound design. Yo, big up Proxim. It's always been about sound design. It's always been about sound design. It's always been about sound design. And so when it comes to actually mixing something, or when it comes to actually, like making something work well together, I think that mixing and mastering is something that I have a lot to learn about specifically. And even with sound design, right? I still have a lot to learn about with sound design. This is just my niche, right? This is what I've spent 8 years cultivating. And that's why it's so fun, is because like the more that I do this, the more that I keep learning about it, and the more that I keep, like, I never mind doing these kinds of basses because they always inspire me, for one, because I can hear them in songs and being like creative as tools and stuff. But the other thing is that I keep learning little tricks, and like I'm like, oh, okay, now I can use that for the next one. And then I like have, like, every time I feel like it just gets better and better. And sometimes I have some crap ones, but that's part of it. Like, I think I'm going to do another one, but what I want to try instead with this, yeah, I think something that I'm going to try to do instead is I'm going to use the lanes to process, and then use multi-stage envelopes to shape the thing. But my only concern with that is, let me see. I guess what I could do, I'm trying to think, but I guess what I could do is, because I still need to, like, the problem is that I could do like a neural processor here, and then a generator here, and then a mixing on lane 3, but I still need a way to get into this. And I guess like one thing that I could try, oh, and don't forget to try my Bitwig sample preset too. No, I won't. Well, that's not true. I did forget, but I won't forget. I'm actually really keen on checking that out. I just, like I said, there's a lot of stuff going on at the house right now. Actually, I want to see if that person responded. So yeah, I do have some cool news, but I'm going to wait until it finalizes because it might not happen. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But that could be pretty cool. But aside from that, I've been doing video edits for the other channel that I have, and then also stuff at the house has been kind of not stressful, but just kind of keeping me busy. So, and then I'm also working on packs and stuff, just trying to do the thing. One thing that, no, I don't want to change this. This sounds fine. So turn that down. So yeah, we'll save that. Now, something that I've been thinking about is LFO is setting up a multi-stage envelope with whatever, at least for the phrasing part. And I think that could be cool because this might get into like the more tangible means of stuff, as far as like, oh, here's how you can actually make a bass phrase and you don't have to resample the thing. Excuse me. But the thing with that is, yeah, it's gonna run into some problems. Well, whatever. Let's give it a try and see what happens. I think I'm gonna go for the Polar Kraken one on this one because this one sounds really cool on its own. Let's give it some distortion and saturate it. Set that So now what we'll do is we will grab something like this, and then we're just going to kind of go ham. Same deal. Oh, wait. Oh no, that might actually be cool. I can do another filter on this to try to sort of. It's like it's part of a group. I also just figured out that if you drag an audio file into Wavetable Synth, you can make the synth act like sampler if you set it to sweep through the wavetable at the speed of about 1 second. Yeah, so this is group, and then within the group you can have oscillators, distortion units, mixing, auxiliary, and filters. And so I wouldn't say that it's part of the oscillator, it's just part of the generator stuff. Like, you have a choice to drag all of these in. So you've got generators, effects, and utilities. Okay, so the first thing we should probably do is set that there, so that way you can make that faster. Yeah, it's like semi-modular. Okay. Now let's do just a little bit of okay, maybe not. So we'll set this here, and then can we rename lane 1? No, you can't, but that would be cool if you could. So let's see. Now what we can do is we can start to process this in the same way that we would with this kind of stuff. So I can drag the resonance down a bit and then find the sweet spot for that, but we can grab those filters and change the gain of this. And then we can also push this a tad bit. Yo, thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate it. We'll do another one here. Maybe this one can be a non-linear because I want to kind of drive it just a bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this here as a utility. So you can only have, I think, 20, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you can only have up to 14 modulators. But the thing is that if you drag this LFO to work on a macro, then that essentially allows you to have more modulators to the same thing. So it makes it a lot easier to work with. do is offset it this way. There we go. All right, so now let me see here. So we can still have this one. I'm just going to make this easy on myself just for this particular patch until I want to get more intricate with it, but I'm just going to set some stuff up here as a general rule of thumb, or as a general deal. And what I'm going to try to do is we are going to map everything on these bands to a macro. And what this is going to aim to achieve is being able to use this multi-stage envelope to control this. But the problem is that, like, I have to do it through the macros because you can't do it through Phaseplant, and then of course multipass as of now doesn't support that. So I'm trying to think about how I can make that work. I really think Phaseplant would be usable if you can have 15 mods on one instead of 14. 14 is just not enough, but 15, okay. Hey, Shaver. Yeah, I get you. 100%. I get that. I get that. Okay, so now we can grab the chorus, set the spread here, shorter delay, bigger depth, shorter rate. We can map that there. Make sure the stereo is in mono. Multipass is a built-in part of Phaseplant or an add-on? Kind of both. Like, it's part of the ecosystem, right? So think about, like, if you have a modular rack or like VCV rack, right? Like, there's the whole thing, and then you can get stuff. You can get more stuff with it. And then for this one, I think we'll use an envelope follower for this, to where that will interact with that on the high band. And I don't know how this is going to sound. I just want to try it and see what it does. Diving into Phaseplant myself, I'm so overwhelmed. Well, don't try to make stuff like I'm like, don't try to make stuff that, like, might be as complex. I would say, like, just take a piece of it, right? I mean, you can. Maybe, I don't really know where you're at with your sound. Oh no, you're only like a year in, right? So, like, take your time with it, man. That's part of the beauty of it, is that there's so much to get out of this stuff. Okay, so no, I think that I'm going to map that to macro 1 as well. And then we'll do some of this. I'm going to map that here. Map that there. What else do I usually do with this stuff? Oh, right. I usually do another band. 20 band, 50 band. We usually have another filter that controls that. So we'll set that one here. And so pretty much what I'm doing is I'm just using this as a guide to, like, control everything within here. Which is good because it will move all the stuff together, but it's bad because it won't be, like, independent. Does what combining it to make crap is tripping me up. Your base comping live stream help though. Phaseplant is great for beginners because you can make it as simple as, yeah, exactly. Like, there's, like, you can do very simple things with it. Did you have to pay separately for multipass? Well, they have bundles, right? So if you go to Kilohearts, then there's different bundles that they offer, but multipass goes on sale. Probably Snap Heap is free, but multipass goes on sale quite a bit for like $29. Or you can use my discount code if you want to buy it right now. Not trying to make a sale or anything, but you can do that if you want. Okay, so all of that stuff is working together. What's some other cool stuff that I can do to this that might be interesting? Maybe just a touch of this. And then maybe I can do another boost notch. Like that. And then I can pit those two against each other. That one goes down. This one goes up. Okay. That's fine for now. Let's just see what this sounds like after we start mapping this stuff. Great, that works well. Yo, my guy Alkish, it rocks. Dope. Okay, so oops. Okay, so almost, but the only problem with this is that we lost the high end. So maybe if I move this over here and put this one okay, I'm going to flip this upside down. Now what is causing, oh, this. Okay, so now that these are set up though, I can probably just get away with pulling this over here. And then I can do like another flip of this, so I can move that down like that. And then I can move this one up. Oh no, not that one. Not that one. And then for this one, I'm going to set the mix of that really short. There we go. Okay, it's almost there, but oh, that might help. And then this is also supposed to be only be at like 1K. What broke my brain was that you can load multipass and multipass. You can load like multipass and snap heap like almost, I think, infinitely as long as your computer can handle it. Hey Stefano, how's it going? So I think that for this, I'm actually going to change this up a bit. I'm gonna move this across and try to create a different kind of vowel maybe. Okay, and then as you can see, this is actually creating that problem that we have. So I'm going to back off of that just a bit. Okay, and now I think that we're getting, I think that that's coming out. So I'm going to put this before. And the mid-band, I believe, needs just some more work. So I'm going to see if there's something I can do to kind of make this a little bit more interesting. I'm going to add just a bit of saturation to this one. So at this point, I'm kind of just paying attention to it and just being like, okay, well, I mean, you can hear that there's like the doing type sound. So, which that sounds pretty cool, but I don't really want. There we go. Mine is at 126 right now, but I usually do anywhere from like 100 to 150. Just depends on what I want. But I typically try to make like really wide basses, or try to do a lot of like processing to as much of the mid band as possible, because that's what you're going to notice the most. So having a lot of stuff to sweep through is going to be very, very beneficial in that way. So this is becoming a problem. Trying to think here, because that's cutting out a lot of the sound to be able to morph. And so the problem with that is, right, because I really wanted to get Phaseplant off Splice. I didn't know it was available like that. I could sign myself up for that right now. Definitely up for that link now that I know this. Yeah, and you can actually do like a 30-day trial. It's at kilohearts.com. Okay, so now that we have something like that, though, I think what I might also do is just do this just a touch. There we go. And then I'm going to throw that over here. And then we will set the mix of this to that one. And we'll set this here too, so that way this will not do anything. If we don't want it to. And then I'm also going to do this and set this one here as well. So that way, you know, maybe what I might try as well is fortifying this with maybe not. That's a bad idea. Your video tiles are just wild, man. Laugh my ass off. So you don't high cut the low and remove the fundamental of the wavetable, then redirect a clean sub? No, I don't. I usually preserve the original character of the sound. I appreciate that, Uli. It's, you know, it's just it helps me stand out. So I think what I'm going to do is maybe not. Maybe can I? There we go. Okay. So as that comes down, I'm going to reduce this by to there. So that way it's kind of a consistent volume. I don't know if you guys, well, no one else is really doing this on YouTube, so it's nice to come here. Well, thanks. I appreciate that. I'm glad. I like the original sub. The high cut seems to make my bass just, yeah, and that's usually the problem. Like you can, well, sometimes what you can do is like you can detune your respace and then like have that, and then you can pit it up against the original sub and send that both through the distortion, because that will kind of help it gel together. But it really just kind of depends on the sound. But these wavetables are supposed to have sub in them. So I use a shit ton of parallel processing personally. Yeah, and so yeah, these wavetables are supposed to be super subby anyways. So that's what the problem that I'm trying to solve. But sometimes with that, you get that issue of like if you remove the sub, especially if you have movement, like you know, stuff like that, then sometimes it's really hard to follow whenever you actually print it. Yeah, that's badass. Okay, cool. We're gonna call this manual labor. Some people was wondering about cutting things and getting certain sounds. Honestly, every technique results in a texture. Yeah, and that's why it's important to like understand that there is no right or wrong. It's just like, here is why this works, and here is like why you might want to do it. Here's why you might not want to do it, but ultimately it's going to be up to you. Yeah, well, it depends. You know, if you're doing like rhythm or something and you've got something that is predictable, like it's just like a then it makes sense to use a clean sub. But when you're trying to like have interesting fills and like insane pitching and stuff, sometimes the sub doesn't do it right. Especially if you know that you're going to be like cutting it into, if you know that you're going to be pitching into a notch filter, then it doesn't make sense to use a clean sub, because the notch filter is going to take it out anyways, so you might as well high pass it, right? So sometimes having the original character, though, you have enough harmonics to kind of carry into the notch, and that's how you get some interesting vowel tones. So that's kind of like, you know what I mean? And if you just have a clean sub, then what's going to happen is like on a frequency range, like especially if you don't control it, but hold on, let me just give you a quick example. But if you have a single harmonic, right? Like let's just say that's your sub and it pitches up. Well, that single harmonic that's louder than the rest of the sound is going to do this. And that's actually going to like, it's going to overtake or over control. It's going to overpower the rest of your sound. So, you know, it's just stuff like, it's those little things that you'll figure out as you keep practicing and keep getting better. Do I like use the sub rhythmically? No, I usually just make like a melody, or I'll just bounce out a bunch of bass hits that are all fundamentally in the same key, and then just do bass fills. But I mean, like, I'm happy to answer those questions, but the thing to keep in mind is like, I'm not the person to model off of like how to write bass lines or how to, you know, how to do stuff. And that's actually what I'm trying to do here is I've actually created a rhythm on this. Just to quickly check with you guys, the 99 monthly subscription to Kilohearts shop is renting the product. I'm sure that's what I got from the advertisement. Don't even kid yourself. Well, I'm saying like for music production, right? Because people don't know me. People know me for sound design, not music production. Proxim, yeah, it's rent to own. So every year, every 12 months, you actually get $100 back. So it's not just you rent, but you end up paying a little bit more over time for like the entire product. But at the same time,
Recording to logbook.
yo, thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate it. But at the same time, like after every 12 months, you get a rebate or you get money back. So you end up paying $50 more if you do the rent to own, but you get the whole suite. And as the updates come out and stuff, you get that too, which is pretty cool. So, what was I gonna say? Yeah, I don't know. I just focus on making timbres and textures and stuff, and then that's why I've been listening more to bathymetrics to be like, how do I control this in a way that's going to be usable? Because it's, oh, and don't forget to use my discount code, because that will give you an extra, that will give you 10% off. And to be honest, like, it's not even for the sale part. Like, it's $1 for me. You know, I guess money's money, but what was I gonna say? Yeah, so making the timbre is one thing, but then figuring out not how to contextualize it, but how to make it work, or how to make it work within the context of a song, not just rhythmically, not just phrasing, but actually sounding, thank you so much, making it sound like it has the amount of power that I want it to. Because that's always why I do this stuff, is like in my mind, the kind of music that I want to create is just really heavy, like, and like, I haven't really come out with anything like that to the caliber that I want to, but it's been just this huge, you know what I mean? It's all just been this huge like build up to releasing that kind of music, and it's coming together. You know, it's taking its time, but any person's artistry takes time. So there's that. So yeah, now that we have that though, we can just kind of focus on the generative aspect of that. And for this in particular, I'm not going to follow this. I'm going to just let it do its thing. So just because for one, it's going to be easier, but two, I still want there to be like a generative aspect to it. At least you admit that your knowledge has a limit and you don't pretend to know everything. You, what? You don't think that I'm arrogant? What? I'm the most arrogant person on the planet. No, I'm kidding. I don't, and that'd be pretty silly to think otherwise. What is a man? Nothing but a miserable pile of arrogance. No, I would say like I'm pretty confident in my skills, but I'm still learning. Yeah, I'm still learning shit all the time. All the time, still learning stuff. Nope, that's not what I want. I learned lots of cool random shit from Alc and applied it and have actually improved quite a bit, to be honest. That's awesome. Yeah, and I'm glad. Like, I'm glad that people are finding this stuff useful, because that's kind of what it's really about, right? Is just how do we all kind of improve together and do the things. All right, this one is just gonna kind of come off on its own, I guess. I should probably move the cutoff somewhere over there. Okay, now we're going to make a custom band pass. You know what would actually be cool is if, hold on one second, I've got an idea. Okay, so that's going to come up, that's going to come up. And so this one is going to move together with each other, kind of like that. But on these, we're going to modulate them to do different stuff. Kind of like that. And then, shit, I need more modulators. Never enough. Yeah, they can do the thing. What is the purpose of having two notch filters overlap each other? Like, what does it do to the sound? Is it useful? What is the purpose besides cleaning the sound? Well, it depends on what frequency range you sweep, right? Like, if you want, let me just say this, if you really want like a squelchy neuro bass, then using a bunch of notch filters in favor of band passes would be the way to go. Because what happens is, like, when you start to sweep the high ranges, then you get this like the squishy sound with notches. So the more that you have like that, and the more that you start cutting through, the more that it's going to give you that timbre. At the same time, if you notch kind of in the low frequency ranges and you kind of just have like a wool like that, then the boost with the notch will kind of give a vowel tone, and that's kind of how you can create stuff like that. So vowels are more like what, 80 to 800-ish? Well, look, just for the sake of like clarity, because like you can call it whatever you want, right? But there is no proper term, but just for the sake of understanding each other, your roars, like a roaring sound is your lows to your low mids. So like if you want like the roar, like those kind of things, you want to focus on the low mids. If you want like screeches or like kind of squishy you know, gremlin sounds, then you want to focus on the mid highs. There is a caveat to that though, because if you do the low mid boost with a low pass filter over the high end and you move it all together like that, then you're shaping vowels. Like, because if you look at, let's do a quick demonstration actually, and this is something that I was meaning to do a while ago anyways, but let me show you let me show you something really fucking funny but also like very useful. Okay, this is called the pink trombone. So what sorry, so what this does essentially is it has the anatomy of like a human voice, right? So right now it's just kind of like doing its thing, but if you focus on creating these notches with this, then you can basically shape or think about using filters as a mouth. It's so fucking funny. So hopefully that makes a little bit. Okay, look. This is actually a really good example though, because look, you see this right here? This is a bandpass. So, yeah, when it comes to doing, it's so funny, when it comes to doing stuff like that, right, and you start to look at filtering in this way, you pretty much have a what, right, because that's the way that frequency ranges work. So you're trying to create vowels with your, and that's why like a parametric EQ is probably the most powerful tool, that and distortion, with making neurobases, especially if you're trying to create like monster sounds, because you're literally trying to create, you know, roar. So what does that sound like, or what is the anatomy of what happens within your throat? And it's not just one or two, right? It's a few different things that have these different like opening and closing chambers and chasms that create those sounds. And so working with that, you know, if you start from a chunky waveform and then you start focusing on building stuff in that way, first you shape it with the EQ, and then the distortion will pull out that stuff. And then that's pretty much how you make vocal stuff. It's one way to make vocal stuff. So like whenever you listen to my basses and you listen to how like a lot of times it has like the like that stuff, that's usually the filtering that helps bring that out. And I covered that in the Skrillex video, and I think that has a really good example of that. So if you guys check out the How to Bite Skrillex, that's like one of the biggest key points of that. That's really cool. think I'm going to do another one over here to try to just see what that can do. This is badass. Okay. Yeah, and that's like the cool thing about kilohearts too, is that like because like pulling up effects is as easy as doing this and then having this dropout menu, like this right here is so overlooked. Because you're working in a vertical way, like just stacking effects and adding modulation to it is just is insane. It's really, I hope that actually Bitwig takes a page out of Kiloheart's book, and in the grid they just have one drop down menu and then it goes into other things, but I would much rather it be like several categories of like a huge grid list to choose from, because I think that would be a lot easier to access this stuff. Oh, dude, Kilohearts is in my opinion like the best sound design tool that anybody that's interested in bass music can get their hands on. I think what I'm going to do on this one too is just maybe try to okay, so now we've got a mix on that, and then we can add this here. Generator. Oh my god, it's a generator. So now we've got our neurobass, and then we can also and so the benefit of this is now that we have something like this, even if this isn't working out, which I'm going to save this first. Let's call this first LFO hybrid roar. So even if this doesn't work out, what we can do now is that because this is mapped to all this other stuff, we can start to get into like playing with different shapes now. Right. So that's super cool. And sorry, I'm trying to pinpoint where that reverb went on this. Was it this one? No. Oh, here it is. Maybe not. Slice EQ. Maybe it is this one. Maybe it's this one. Yeah, it is this one. Okay. Cool. So something else that we can try as well is we can grab a note and set the LFO speed up. And now it's not going to sound smooth, but from having this 24 polyphony here, from having this now, we can change the LFO speed based off of the pitch. And so what we need to do is set this to the right center. You okay? Cool. And now that we have that, again, we can just go in and change this, or we can turn the generator on. And there we go. So what's cool about this is I'm going to save this. Wheel. And we're just going to set this to, you know, something that's a little bit more predictable. Okay, so now that you have something like that, right, that's a little bit more usable. And so if you've got, you know, let me just grab, hold on one sec. So reverb on basses, do you usually use a plate? It depends on what kind of reverb. I usually use convolution, and then I think the reverb that, like the standard reverb that's in kilohertz, is just a hall reverb, or a room, maybe it's just a room. What is kilohertz 1 Alckemy? It doesn't come with the VST3 installed, so that's a separate plugin. That's a subtractive synth, but I wouldn't worry about it. I don't actually use that. I mean, it's not a bad synth by any means. It's just that, like, it's kind of obsolete from what you have with Phaseplant in general. Oh, right. So I was wanting to go into, let's see here. Right, so let's say you got something like that, right? Well, we are going to add in an audio in. And with this now, we're going to input the drum beat, pre, and then we're going to grab a replacer. Throw that in the generator. And then maybe set a note length on this. Add a side chain. Okay, hold on one second, because there's something going on with that. So let me just move this all over here. I don't really know what happened there, but right, so you can do something kind of like that. I don't know why that got so quiet, but or you can do some kind of stepper. Ah, shit, missed your reply. Do I need the kilohearts one? No, you don't. Yeah, so you can also try to place this into a key filter. Put that into F minor. The only thing with this is that it sounds really quiet compared to the drums. Maybe I'll try a different one. Alright, so something else that we can try with that is like, the problem with that is that it's just a loop, so maybe what we can do is just focus on the low end here. Yeah, so you can see that with that you can make some really cool stuff, but I think that I did something wrong because, like I said, for some reason that just sounds really quiet. Okay, so something with this that might be fun. Am I deaf? Or maybe this is just lacking low end. That probably sound really freaking cool. That's dope. think I'm gonna save that one because I think that one sounds cooler. What might even be cool too is maybe do like a That's really fucking cool. So something that could be interesting too is we can actually use this to follow the pitch. Oops. Which is interesting because when that goes down all the way, like what happens if we do... So we can set this to here and go pitch mod. Going back to your comment, I love a bit of liquid in a set. Nice place, really brings the house down. So what's cool about this is that if we were to... Wait, let me make sure that I save this. If we were to modulate the LFO on this now, then we can make the movement track the pitch. So now, right, now we can make that move too, so. Yeah, of course. Or now, maybe if you did that really fast, that would be kind of cool. Eighth note basses are kicking my ass. Mine are sounding static. I hear movement in them. When I try to move them, it sounds wrong. Any advice? Offsetting the LFO and then side chaining is probably the best bet for that. So like if you have something that's interesting, then what you most likely want to do, what we're doing a special for Collaborative Disruptors magazine. Didn't build authority establish. Charges applicable? What? Okay. Yeah, so if you're trying to get it to fit, like, because context is always key, right? Dude, please. What the fuck? Context is key, but when you're just trying to get like an eighth note or something, like instead of just doing like a pluck, right? That's just a sine wave or sorry, just like either, yeah, a basic shape. Like you can, for one, bend the shape so it goes like outward. So like, let's say, hold on one sec. All right, let's say you're doing something like this, right? Well, this is going to be pretty static. So like that's pretty whack. But if you move this offset a bit, and then you change this to retrigger, sometimes that can be super beneficial. And the other thing that you can do is to like kind of check the bias of the curve. Or maybe sometimes give it something like this. Or sometimes like creating like a double shape like this. Right, because sometimes that helps like just make it a little bit more interesting. No, I'm trying to figure out why this sounds so like muffled. Well, that makes it sound more clear. Hey, Sadu. It makes sense. Related question. How much do you usually charge for lessons? $40 an hour, US dollars. I think I'm going to save that LFO table. Oh, right. That's another thing that's coming soon is no LFO tables. That's going to be awesome. So yeah, that's kind of the cool thing about this sound now is like now it's like got all the same stuff, but as opposed to being randomized, you can kind of just draw the table how you want it, and then you can shape like the movement and have it do what you want. Okay, one save that one. Okay, so now you can kind of just, again, copy this. Oops. One more time. Copy this. Paste it. Okay, now with that, we'll probably have to give this a much shorter. Okay, when I get paid, I'll send you an email in the one with the bio. We can arrange something if you can stay on my new. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so there's a lot of cool stuff that you can get into there to just kind of mess around with it and stuff. But I think that as a first go, this is a really cool way to do all that stuff. And I'm kind of thinking that I'm going to start doing things a little different now too, because what I'm thinking I can do is well, maybe, I don't know, I'm trying to think about how I would do this, but what I'm thinking is that maybe I'm trying to think about how I can route this to where if I wanted the like what if I wanted everything to go to a single macro, right? And I'm just editing the macros here. So 1, 2, 3. But then what if I wanted one to actually be like an LFO table, or sorry, an LFO. So what I'm trying to consider is like, how can I go from making this random to a dedicated, to like a dedicated thing. Let me try this, because I've got an interesting theory, but I think that if I can figure that out, then these patches are going to be way more versatile. So, all right, so let's say I've got 3 randomizers. Now one of those, 3 of them are taken. So three of them are donezo. One of them controls the neuro. Sorry, hold on. So one of them controls this. And this is just going to be a dummy patch, so. All right. One controls this. One controls the generator. One controls the speed. So I need the ability to transition between a generative, so to speak, and an LFO. Don't say sorry, I'm learning from you, experimenting. So how do I, sorry, it's just, I'm trying to okay, that's an interesting routing problem, but if I can pull this off, then that would actually be pretty incredible. Because the nature of like how all this stuff is made is kind of, yeah, fully downloaded and installed, can play it straight away. I'm too excited, gonna stick here for here, blaze a do, well happy. Awesome, man. I hope that you love it. I love Phaseplant. It's pretty much the only synthesizer I ever use anymore. Hi, I hope you're having a great day. Hi, hope you're doing well as well. So what I want to do is like, that's got its own shit that controls that. Yeah, that wouldn't work unless if I were to duplicate this and make a completely separate patch and do all the routing via macros. That would be really cumbersome. That would take so much work. I mean, I guess I could do it, but holy shit. Maybe I'll just do one like that. And that will involve like 3 multipass. I think whenever I can do mod remapping in Phaseplant 2.0, then I might actually be able to pull that off, like in a much easier way. But I guess for now, what I'm thinking is, let me just pull up another patch. It doesn't really matter. Let's do the Fire Demon one. Hey Avin, how are you? So I'm thinking about how I can toggle between randomization and an LFO, right? Because all this stuff is routed into like these effects, and they're kind of nested within that, right? So I'm trying to figure out, at least as far as like the filter processing, how I can switch between doing randomization and doing an actual LFO. And it might have been easier for me if you could switch between these modes here, but you can't. And even if you could, it would be standard shapes. But is there a way to maybe make an LFO and then make this randomize? And that would be the next thing with that. Can you modulate or randomize the size of this? You can. So that's interesting. Huh. Okay, so theoretically, let's say I have a bass. We'll just do like a regular Reese. The LFO on Massive had a mixer with 2 waveforms?
What?
The LFO and Random both have outputs you could toggle the scale of modulation. I mean, that's kind of what I'm thinking is use an LFO on all this stuff, enabling fading. Oh, but that's between the oscillators. I'm talking about between modulators. Sorry, I need a notch. Okay, so let's say I have that, then I pull up a randomizer. That randomizes this. But then I can control, that might be viable. I might be able to do it this way. But let me see what this is going to turn itself into whenever this is active. Okay. Put your boots on. We're going to do something cool. So I'm going to use a wavetable of mine. Let's do this one today. Shit. Okay, so what we need are a few of these. Maybe, we'll see how this works out. Okay, so there's this. Yeah, I am going to use a few of these because there's certain things that I want it to be independent. God, I love that pitch bend sound. Thanks. Okay, so this one dictates this one. This one dictates this one. This one is going to be a boosty to this one. And then we can move that one up a little bit too. And then we can set this here to where that's affecting that, and that's affecting that. Okay, that part is solved. Now, if I wanted to yeah, I think this is going to work out. This is going to be really interesting to try. So let's go, sorry. So the wave shape display to the left of those modules is the wave shape after that effect. Yeah, this one is showing what this is doing, because if you turn this down, you'll see that it's affecting the sound in that way. So, and then this is what's happening to the filter after. So it's very visual in that way. That's why I like it a lot. Okay, so in order to pull this one off, we are going to have to set macros to all of this. That's going to become obsolete. So we've got distortion. Slice EQ. Dun, 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 dun. Anybody know what that's from? How did I just... There we go. Okay. So now Zelda, I don't know, close. It's from Sonic. Okay. McDonald's theme song, Alckemy bootleg remix. That's pretty funny, but no. Okay. So now we can set this one to LFO5. And that's our first LFO. And now we can set this one to our second one here. So we can call this LFO1, LFO2. The Legend of Sonic, Sonic and the Legend of Zelda. The Legend of Sanic. Sorry guys, can you see this? This isn't really important up here, so... Okay, but now that we have this macroed, to this in particular, we can... I remember that came for the Nintendo Swatch too.
What?
We can get into filtering on this. So I guess in some cases it wouldn't be that much different. It's just a couple of extra steps, because in the sense of building all this, if I just map these to macros instead of doing it via modulators like this, then that really isn't that much bigger of a deal, I don't feel. Because in theory, I mean, I do want this to sound good, but because this is mapped in this way, then when I'm done building this, I should be able to that's really cool. Let's do another notch filter. And this could actually end up being a little bit faster too, because this is going to, like, I don't have to flip tabs in between this to try to get this to where I want it to be. But I think that if I can figure this out, then I will be solving a lot of problems. And the problems would be in the sense of making something that is going to do the same thing every time versus something that is randomized. If that makes sense. I'm going to hard clip this just a bit. Filter verb. Okay, so I'm actually going to... What all is this control? Oh, I was like, what the fuck? Okay. Okay. So this one will control that one. This one will control that one. And so now we can set these to control those. So maybe what I should do, and that's going to be hard because I'm trying to think about the most efficient way to do this, but maybe what I could do is I can just make these like without even listening to the sound and then just map a bunch of stuff. Need for Speed Carbons track. But the benefit to this would be that I would be able to create something that I would be able to create something that is more streamlined. I think I'm also going to throw a format filter on this, but before the reverb. Oi. So that's going to do that. Cool. We're almost there. I appreciate you guys being patient about this because I think that this is going to be big thing. Big thing. And I suppose I could always do more stuff if I want to, but okay, so it still has the same characteristics of like the cool stuff, right? Now, the thing with this is once we get this where it needs to be, man, it's a pleasure to watch someone who's doing exactly what I want to see. I appreciate that. But once we get something that we're happy with, there's two problems that I just solved with this. The first one is that if I want this to be predictable, then between these two, I can actually do that. So we can set something different now between this one, this one, right? Now, one other thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to duck this. This is just for this patch in particular, but okay. And now that we have something like this, what we can do is we can grab a randomizer now. Pit these two against each other like this. And now this might randomize these in some particular fashion. So let me find something that's a little bit more I don't know, maybe something like this. So what we can do with macro 4 now is set this here. Yeah, that's crazy. So we've essentially figured out how to create a neuro base and modulate between randomization and stuff, but even then it's kind of flawed because it's still bound by the limitations of this LFO. So maybe what we can do as well to make this a little bit more interesting is let's see if we can shift the phase to try to make this also pretty cool. We'll set that there, and then we're also going to control that too, so that way whenever that does that, it's not gonna, you know, do the thing. Now, one other thing I'm going to do on this is grab another multipass and try to bring up some of the high end back. Wait, dynamics. I'm going to pick up Phaseplant soon. I can't wait to binge all your streams and Neurobase guides. Such a good resource. Thanks so much, man. I appreciate it. So two things have to happen. I either have to make LFOs that cover like the whole frequency range or like the whole range of the mod, right? So something kind of like that. Or wait. You could set the amount of the second LFO to 0 and modulate with the random in the other direction. This would toggle between LFO 1 and LFO 2 modulation. Rate automation on LFO 2. Hold on. Let me try this instead. Wait, shit. Okay, so let's say that's that, right? Now what we can do is we can still grab this and place this on all of these. I'm going to call it a night. It's like 2 a.m. here. Thank you for the advice. I'll try and stop our next stream. Cheers and thanks for the advice. Yeah, for sure, man. Thanks so much. Okay. I might have figured this out. So what you do, yeah, that's not too bad. Okay, I got this. So what you do is you set a toggle device. And what this is going to achieve is, yep, okay, I got it. Yeah, big ups, dude. Thank you so much for coming in. Okay, I just have to get this right. This one goes here. This one goes here. GG Shaver. Okay. So now we will apply this to the random as well. And then we will apply this to, wait, not that. Apply it to that, so. Okay, that doesn't work. Because what I'm trying to do is set this to, oh no, that might work. Okay, so 0 random. Here as well. This goes to this. This goes to this. Then we add this one to here. Then we add this one to here. Right? Okay. So there's that. Hi, honey. You feeling okay? Sounds like your voice is kind of coming back. Right when you say that, it's coming back. My partner isn't feeling well. I feel terrible for her. Okay, so now that that's there, it's static, right? This one can... I'm just going to make this go back to the original. I think that the only thing that I need to change on this in order to make it interesting is... And this is just for me so I can tell like what the movement is actually doing. Wow, that's really cool. I think I just figured out something really big. So yeah, you can make custom LFO maps. Okay, so now I need to I guess it wouldn't really matter if this is going on, because what happens when this starts doing that? Okay, so one trumps over the other. There's no interaction in between the two. So what you'd also have to do is go to the LFO. I know that there's a way to do this. So if we put this one on this one, and this one on this one, then it will do that. If we put that on here, then it will do that, right? Now, if we go to this one and we do the same thing, and then we go here and we add this one to that one, this one to that one, there it is. But what happens if okay, it's still being randomized. I think. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Yeah, never mind. Fuck. So we need a way to crossfade in between the mix of those. And that's the way that this is going to, like, that's how we're going to be able to do this. Okay. So what we'll do then is we'll go here and there and there and there, and we will turn the random off. Wait, we'll turn this on. So now if I do this one, it'll randomize. If I do this one, it'll be an LFO.
I just figured some shit out.
So, yeah, it's a couple of extra steps. But if I start to think about like neglecting the randomization within multipass and move everything to macros, I need to write this down. So, wow. Right. Okay. So what this is going to do for us is we can play along the lines of predictability and unpredictability. Fully sitting in my studio chair wrapped in a duvet. Oh, I need to generate some heat if I'm going to sit up all night playing synthesizers. In my studio chair wrapped in a... What's a duvet? Or a duvet? I've never heard of that before. Need to generate some heat if I'm going to sit up all night playing synthesizers. Is it like a blanket or something? Or is that like a... Is that something else? Okay. And I guess that you can control the speed of all of those together. It's a bed sheet? I didn't know that, I'm sorry. So now that we have something like that though, we can alternate between something like that. So what happens if it's static? What if could I skip this entirely and do this with that? And do this with that too. So that'll turn that on. That'll turn that on. I saved a macro. So that turns that on. That also turns that on. So the only thing that I needed to fix was just making sure that I don't use the randomizers within multipass and snap heap. But now that I have that, I can make essentially... this is insane. And not only that, but I can move this in between smoothed and step mode. Wow, this is going to be a really cool patch when I'm done with it. Smooth. Now, what else would be cool is if I could move this entire thing. Click to bind. Is that for... Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that I could do that. Wow. So something is broken here, though. Because that's not moving. And as you can see, that's messing that up. So what happens if... Maybe I broke it. Because theoretically, this should be... Let me just keep this here and see what that does. So the LFO is off. But the randomizer is doing weird shit. Like, it's not really moving. Huh. I wonder why that is. With an airplane and the reverb, it's because of the chorus. So if you listen to this, sorry, not that. I need to turn the chorus on. Oh, that might also help. So this one is mapped to the same. Yeah, I wonder if like I'm breaking it low key. Because in theory, this should be pretty badass. Okay, we got it. So that took a lot of time, but I got it figured out. So you set 2 macros over there, and then from being able to do that, you can switch between and modulate between the 2. And now that you have something like that, we have more options available. So now all I have to do is change that into a generator. Okay, I'm probably gonna get off in about 15 minutes.
I think I'm gonna do, if I can, like the drive-through test today.
Oh, okay.
And I need to pick up Melissa, so.
Would you rather go alone or no? Okay, about 15 minutes, okay. I'm gonna finish up this patch. Such drama. That's why we're together. She's great. Such drama. Okay, so yeah, this is really cool.
You alright?
Let's go ahead and deal with this quickly. So don't break my stuff. Don't break it. Okay. So let's turn this up now. I guess for this, I might just have to just start putting some stuff together. Oh, well, that could be a problem too, because the knobs aren't bipolar. That's okay. We'll see what we can get. I think that for this as a concept, that's going to be really interesting. I guess what you can do is set this here. It's either going to go up 12 or if that's at 0. So if I want the 0 point to be there, then I would set that one to the maximum value, which would be 50%. And you could leave that there. Okay, yeah, that works. That's fine. Just gonna make sure that the low end is in mono. And I guess being able to rename these would be cool too, but it's fine. Oh no. Um, Okay, now I just got to figure out what's what. Okay, so that's... Okay, they're all curved. Or these two are... So that one's that one. That one's that one. Okay. Um, it's hey Josh, you can get it off of the kilohearts custom skin deal. Like they're sorry, in the Discord. That was like totally unhelpful. Hopefully you're doing well. Yeah. There's a kilohertz Discord, and then if you just go to the sorry, one sec. Oh, I should have just done that. Oh wait, no, it's got to be 50% because you have to set the lowest value, then go up. Okay. Yeah, if you go to the kilohertz Discord and then go to like the skin presets, then there's just a ton of them that you can download. Okay, so why are we getting those like weird? Where is that sound coming from? Um, let's try to offset this a bit and see what that'll do. Wait, what did I just do? Oh, I guess that's what the buzzing is coming from. Now we need to get these other things to work. Because they're not working very much. Oh, that's why. Okay. No, is the jitter turned on these or what? Yeah, so the problem with this is that it's not really doing a whole lot. I'm sorry, honey. I'm trying to finish this up. Okay, maybe if we just grab one of those. Okay, that's better. Oh, I see. These are only going unipolar. So what I've learned is that in theory you can do this and it could be okay, but for some reason there's just this odd interaction between this stuff that makes it seem kind of odd. And so I'm trying to figure out how we can maybe solve that problem, but I think that I'll have to try to do that another time because I gotta leave and make sure that my partner's taken care of. But I'm gonna go. If you guys want to support the channel, then, well, some of you guys are members. Thank you so much for being here. But if you guys want to purchase something off of the website, there's a link right there. You can see that. Eternum 2 is the latest pack, and then now I'm kind of just refortifying and trying to make cooler sounds that is going to do more in a single patch. So thanks everybody for watching. I appreciate it. I will see you all tomorrow. Bye everybody.